We're getting into the last hours of the day here at the Collinsville Regional Moon Series. We are back at the desk. It is Rosemary and John going to be bringing you the round 7 of Swiss, and we've got a double for you. We're going to be bringing you not one, but 2 games of this Swiss round. So we've got an incredible matchup for you. This is what they call a win-in, which means that the winner of this matchup is going to immediately top cut to tomorrow. So following that one, we are going to have yet another one that will be similar outcome as well. One of those is going to make it, and one of them might not, depending on...
Depends on the Swiss triangle here, but
yes.
With the numbers given to us today, it's pretty unlikely. I would say it really depends on how the top tables go. But, 2 players. We're going to go to first. This match is going to be between Zheyuan Huang, otherwise known as Ken. We'll be calling him Ken throughout the match here. And William Marks. Now, these are both players that attend my local area, so the Midwest area. Although I guess I should say used to in the case of Ken, as Ken has actually moved to California. So he's visiting us from the West Coast. But I guess William is more of a newer player, whereas Ken is a seasoned player, a bit newer, but been a while.
Yeah.
Been around for a while. He did also cut Dallas, which was the first Moon Series regional.
Yes.
And that's pretty important. It means he's kind of gotten to know the hang of this series, while people are still kind of messing around with what they want to do in this format. Haven't really seen much from William recently, although he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. He actually played me in his first ever tournament set and actually beat me. So he's got some shoes to fill too.
Yeah, I mean, you've got some pretty, first-hand knowledge of both of these players, and I can't wait to see what teams they've brought to the competition today. We've seen some very interesting ones, that is for sure.
Course.
We last round, we had a Volcarona, we saw some other fun Pokemon.
Zygarde.
Yeah, Zygarde.
The works.
So many good ones. And now we're just kind of getting into the last matches of the day. And I think these players, as we are just mentally exhausted at this point.
Yeah. 6 rounds of Swiss, best of 3 can definitely take its toll, although it's nothing like, late 2016 where tournaments were 9 rounds of Swiss, best of 3. Maybe luckily or unluckily, the tournament attendance has gone a little bit down since then, so a little less Swiss rounds to worry about. Still the same amount of work to put in if you're the player, of course.
I mean, this is a large regional as well. We have 114 Masters players that showed up today. Everybody showed up that signed up, and they absolutely came to play. I don't know how many are still in the running right now, but we are ready to go into team preview, and at least we know that Ken and William are still in the running here for a spot in day 2 tomorrow. So let's talk about these teams. We've got William that's bringing a Smeargle, Lunala, Sarina, Stakataka, Incineroar, and Xerneas, a very standard composition that we've seen so far in the format. And on the other side of things, we're going to see Ken bringing Tapu Koko, Hitmontop.
There
it is a Hitmontop. I'm not seeing things. That's also going to be a Xerneas, Incineroar, Amoonguss, and Lunala. Hitmontop.
Yeah, so Hitmontop is a really kind of namesake in the VGC household. They're just going to jump right in, but talk a little bit more about why Hitmontop is a really cool sight to see. It first kind of made its breakout in 2010, the very first restricted format. Very common Pokemon, even some compare it to Incineroar nowadays. It used to be doing what Incineroar does now, provide that Intimidate, provide Fake Out, but being the fighting type in the now newly fairy-infested metagame, it's got a little bit less usage, but it's still got a lot of tools, and Fighting Stab is definitely nice in this matchup. So their players are going to get into it here. Ken's going to lead off with Xerneas and Amoonguss, while William's going to lead off with Xerneas and Incineroar.
An interesting starting position for both of these players because they decided to start with their damage dealers as well as a support Pokemon. So, what's the difference between starting with an Incineroar versus an Amoonguss?
Well, the Incineroar definitely provides a bit more proactive. I would say support, you get that fake out pressure, you've got maybe Snarl on deck, you can U-turn to give yourself a little more momentum, change the board position, whereas Amoonguss is more of a passive support. Has a Rage Powder to redirect and make sure your Xerneas or whatever you're supporting is safe. Gets that Spore if you don't have any terrain kind of interrupting that, or safety goggles. But here we're going to see the fake out just go into Amoonguss as Xerneas from William's side going to switch into Stack Attacka.
I'm laughing because that Stack Attacka is called Garden Shed on William's side, so that's its nickname, and I just think that's super fitting. So I had to chuckle at that one. But going ahead with the turns for this very first turn of the game, Ken is going to go ahead and get the Geomancy online for his Xerneas. And that means that you've got a lot of fighting power coming out from Ken's side if they are able to get through this massive wall and pressure that is Stack Attacka on Williams' side.
Stack Attacka coming in was a really good turn one switch. Able to check that Xerneas right off the bat here, as Ken definitely not going to let that slide. Here's Hitmontop hitting the field, and we all love Stack Attacka and how it deals effectively with Xerneas, but what deals well with Stack Attacka? A fighting type. So Hitmontop here is going to be in a great position to just threaten Stack Attacka right now, even making sure it loses that KO potential with Intimidate.
I mean, you are going to lose that KO potential, but look at how low that Incineroar got there. That boosted Moonblast was able to do so much to Incineroar, putting it in Pinchberry range. But oh my gosh, that actually, even with that nullification, that wasn't enough. That was a critical hit onto that Xerneas.
That was really unfortunate, I guess, for Ken.
Wow.
He does have a tendency to be critical hit, as past experience would show. And Roar coming out just to make sure that even if Gyro Ball didn't knock out, Xerneas would be sent away, lose your boosts, send me something else. But Ken's still not out of it yet. He does have a fighting type and just got the double Intimidate onto both of William's Pokemon. And these Pokemon are both very weak to fighting, so William's going to have to go ahead and position these Pokemon in a little bit of different positions. But might be risky since Amoonguss also on the field can ready that Spore to fire at any Pokemon he wants.
That's very true. So it looks like we have some big threats here on Ken's side of the board with that Hitmontop and that Amoonguss in play. And Hitmontop going in close with that combat into Stack Attacka. Not going to do enough in order to get the one-hit KO, but that was a lot of damage on to Stack Attacka. That U-turn, though, finding its mark onto Amoonguss. It's going to get that Incineroar to switch out for another Pokemon that is in William's back pocket. So we're going to be able to see just a little bit more information here. Have no idea whether or not we're going to see... Well, it's going to be the Xerneas that we saw initially on turn 1 of this game.
Yeah, Stack Attacka was able to take that close combat. It normally shouldn't be able to take it, but, with that Defense Beast boost, was able to take it. That thing is very, very bulky on both spectrums, and even 4x, weakness to the fighting type is not going to stop it. Gyro Ball doing a sizable chunk, probably because of the defense drop on Hitmontop, and even at -2, it's going to do a hefty load. But Xerneas getting caught with the Spore on switch-in means that Ken's going to have a little bit of breathing room to try to get himself back into the game.
Yeah, Ken is still in a decent... But, I mean, both of these players are in pretty good positions right now. I can't say whether or not the match is going to go one way or another, but William is putting so much pressure onto Ken that Hitmontop is going to come out of this game, and we're going to see Lunala coming in. So we have a lot of information now on Ken's side of the board where we know all of the Pokemon that Ken has brought to this very first game of this set. But Clear Smog, interesting. Yeah,
just going for damage right now. Doesn't need to worry about the boost since that was a guaranteed sleep turn, but, some damage is better than no damage, and, Stack Attack kind of wasted its turn there going for the Protect, and definitely made it more vulnerable this turn with the Lunala coming in. So I would say Ken is in a nice position right now to go for maybe a Lunalium Z into Xerneas to take the pick up the quick knockout, as Xerneas takes a second turn of sleep, trying to go for a Protect probably, as Moongeist being no Z move, just going to go for a straight Moongeist. Doesn't need to pop that Z move just yet. We'll see who it targets, but I think it's going to be the Stack Attacka.
Yeah, and that's going to be a knockout there. So now Ken is going to have this another Pokemon knocked out of the way, and that defense is now gone for William. So you can't really rely on standing behind that garden shed anymore to be able to deal with the pressure from Ken's boosted Xerneas.
Right. Now, actually, I would have liked it if the Lunalium Z did come off into the Xerneas.
Yeah.
It was maybe a little risky because if he got the turn 1 sleep, maybe wake up, Protect, stop the power output. But if you got rid of Xerneas right there, then, Hitmontop is just kind of free to clean through the rest of Williams' team right there. Because you just got the Incineroar, Stagataka. Now, Ken may be realizing Lunala needs to get out of here so he doesn't lose to Incineroar. Bring back Hitmontop. He's hoping for that 3-turn sleep on Xerneas, possibly here. So we'll see what happens.
I think he's crossing his fingers for that one, but that's not going to happen at
all.
all.
Looks like Protect coming off. So, going for that turn 3 Wake for the Protect. Good support option, I suppose. You turn back and get something else in, but honestly, I'm not sure if that puts William in a better position than before, because now he can just get Spore again.
Yeah, that would be an unfortunate Spore, too, if that were to come off, but we'll see what happens for this next one.
Yikes, yeah, there it is. So Spore into that U-turn slot. That's a very important player put to sleep. And, Mungus can just do it again to the Xerneas slot. There's no reason not to at this point.
I mean, maybe he'll get lucky, like how Nick got super lucky with his Venusaur and those sleeps over there with the double sleeps. But we're going to actually... Ooh, that was a second attempt at a Protect, and that's not going to work.
I'm not sure why that was something that was considered. Honestly, just going for the attack with Xerneas would have at least guaranteed you a knockout on the Hitmontop. But now he's just taking damage and this Spore. So now, again, Williams' Pokemon just taking a large group nap. They think, well, this might be okay. I think we could still win. Let's just take a nap. But I don't know, because even if it doesn't do much damage, Hitmontop can still do work.
They've done quite a bit of work so far, so I think it's okay that Xerneas and Lunala are just taking a quick snooze before finishing up this series. But Ken is now trying to set up a way to deal with both of these burst damage dealers on William's side, and I'm not really sure that any of Ken's Pokemon in the back are really going to be able to deal with them as well as he would like them to.
Yeah, it's hard because as, only having one damage dealer now in the Lunala, which is also weak to the other Lunala, is definitely a little risky, especially if the other Lunala gets the 1-turn sleep. That's why we see the Rage Powder here, just to protect Ken's own Lunala. As Xerneas is going to take its first turn of sleep here, and Lunala over on the other side going to get that 1-turn sleep, as I saw. And here is Williams' Z move, the Lunalium Z.
Oh,
unfortunately
boy.
Getting redirected, but we'll see if this is enough for the knockout on Amoonguss.
Amoonguss is a usually very bulky trained Pokemon, so I'm not sure that this is going to be quite enough, but this is a powerful move, that Menacing Moonraze Maelstrom. I'm only saying it so often because it's kind of fun to say, but that Amoonguss is going to be very unlucky here, getting pulled into that portal and having to deal with this powerhouse that is Lunala. So we'll see whether or not it actually survives this. But the rays of disaster are upon it right now, and that is going to be not enough.
Not enough, and this is going to pop a berry if it's there, but no berry. Just looks like
interesting.
I'm just going to hang on there with a little bit of health. Not a bad position. You can still use Rage Powder this next turn to guarantee you redirect at a Moongeist Beam or a Moonblast. But honestly, if you wanted to pull out, you certainly could and get the Regenerator, but at that low of a health threshold, it may not be worth it at this point. Maybe just go for the Lunalium Z of your own onto the opposing Lunala, or maybe try to get KO on Xerneas.
Yeah, there are a couple of different ways that I think you can play this out, but I like what William did with this switch into the Incineroar in order to get that Intimidate out onto the field. It doesn't do a whole lot against Lunala, but it's just to be able to potentially have that fake out pressure on board if that Incineroar is running it. But we're not going to see that Lunalium Z move. We're actually just going to see a Moongeist Beam.
All right.
Oh, wait.
There's the Lunalium
Oh, there
Z
it is.
from Ken's side.
All right.
Moongeist from William's side. Not able to take out Ken's Lunala because of Shadow Shield. Really crucial. And we're going to see if this actually targets the opposing Lunala or if it hits into that Incineroar switch-in. This is going to be really important here.
It is going to be important because, if you're able to take... Oh, it's going to be the Incineroar.
Okay, so Incineroar is going to go into that Warp Hole as the Amoonguss did, and I'm pretty sure it's just going to take this pretty comfortably, being a Dark type, resisting that Ghost damage.
Yeah, I think you're right about that one. I mean, it is a very powerful Z move. It's one of the most powerful in the format. But it's not going to be enough. I think that it would have been a more likely scenario that Amoonguss got knocked out than this Incineroar, but unfortunately that Amoonguss not getting knocked out means that that Spore is going to go back onto the Lunala. It's going to have a second nap.
That's going to be very crucial. It's going to come down to the sleep turns, honestly. If it stays asleep longer than it needs to, Ken might just steal this one right out from under William. And I'm not sure if the Incineroar is in range for a Moongeist Beam, but it kind of looks like it to me. Maybe a damage roll on that one, but we'll see how this plays out. Incineroar is threatening a KO on either of the two Pokemon, or maybe threatening a Fake Out to stop Moongeist. Although I think we'll much rather see one of those Pokemon go down.
Absolutely. I mean, the more Pokemon that you get down on the opponent's side, the better off you're going to be. But a Rage Powder coming up from Amoonguss to try to keep its partner Lunala alive is going to at least stave off one turn of damage, because Williams Lunala is still taking a snooze, but that is going to be another Moongeist Beam coming out from Ken's side, and it's going to find its mark on the sleeping Lunala, doing a decent amount of damage, but still nothing getting picked up from a one-hit knockout. Incineroar, though, going to clean up that Amoonguss and go back to William in order to bring out his third Pokemon.
Yeah, that Xerneas is going to come in, and it has taken 2 turns of sleep, so you could definitely see it wake up and go for Geomancy, or just go for straight up Dazzling Gleam, get a double knockout, and clean the game up. But it's going to come down to whether it wakes up this next turn.
That's true.
If it doesn't, then I can honestly say that, Ken got the sleep turn rolls and, put things to sleep, and that's the game.
That's the name of the game sometimes, but this is going to be Ken's last 2 Pokemon here with the Hitmontop and the Lunala, so this is the last couple of efforts here for both of these players. So we're going to see kind of exactly who's going to be able to take this one. The 2 sleeping Pokemon on William's side, I mean, that just, to me, kind of spells disaster a little bit.
Oh, wow. Here comes the helping hand from Hitmontop. No Fake Out, no Fake, no nothing. Just going for it. As Xerneas takes a crucial third turn of sleep. That's going to be... Oh no! Moongeist Beam. Another Moongeist Beam from William. It's almost nighttime, so I guess that's time for bats to come out and play. It's going to go ahead and take out Lunala on Ken's side, and that's going to seal the deal. Hitmontop, no way to hit other Lunalas or anything like that. Ghost types are the bane of Hitmontop's existence, so... It's definitely gone.
Hitmontop was in such a good position for... I think it was a good choice for Ken to bring to the table, only because of the defensive pressure that William was putting out from, the Stakataka and the Incineroar. But this is going to be a forfeit from Ken. Doesn't want to give up any more information, and we're going into a game 2.
Right. I think Ken played that pretty well. Definitely needs to maybe... preserve the Xerneas a little more, although definitely unfortunate that he just got critical out of,
I know, that was
all that damage that Xerneas didn't get to do. Maybe he'll try it was dealt to it, yeah. He might try to do the same plan again. Honestly, there isn't much of a reason to switch around the game plan too much. Ken's own Incineroar isn't really doing a whole lot when you consider all the factors on his team. So I think he's okay to stick with the same 4. And Amoonguss was definitely putting in a lot of work, putting a lot of Williams Pokemon to sleep. It just came down to those sleep turns. Yeah,
the Spores and the Rage Powders were really well executed on Ken's side. So Amoonguss absolutely a VIP of today. But, William definitely has the potential to bring this one back. I think he just needs to do a little bit more damage. And that just seems to be the name of the game. And those unlucky sleep rolls, too, definitely didn't help him in this case. But we're going to see those leads coming out from both William and Ken right now. Ken's starting out the same way he started out last game, and William as well. So it's going to be another repeat of history with both of these leads.
All right, and after all the abilities start firing off, we'll see if these players change anything about their first turn, first game. If I recall correctly, I think Incineroar stopped Amoonguss from attacking, and Xerneas on William's side switched to Stakataka, so we'll see what happens this time. I kind of expected the same play, to be honest. There wasn't really anything inherently wrong with it.
I think I would like to see William get a little bit aggressive here. I think that the Stakataka switch was good, being able to know that Ken was going to set up Geomancy, but I think that there's an even safer play here, and it's just Fake Out, Ken, like, there's a more aggressive play, I guess. It's not safe. It's very aggressive. Fake out Ken Xerneas. Get your own Xerneas to Geomancy and see what happens.
Yeah, it does open you up to Spore, but you know,
does.
it may come out on top if the Spore connects with the wrong target, you know. So it all comes down to what they do on this turn 1, and they're taking quite a fair time to decide what to do here.
Yeah, so that fake out is going to find its mark. Oh, on the Amoonguss, so we're not going to see a Rage Powder or a Spore this time. And going early with a Moonblast on Ken's side onto William Xerneas. But that's going to be a Geomancy. Is it going to be enough, though? Was there too much damage already dealt to William Xerneas so that Geomancy has no value here?
Yeah, it's going to be a little tough, honestly, because now that he's in a weakened state, he can still definitely do the damage. But, you know, Ken's got a safe setup next turn. He's got a Rage Powder and Geomancy of his own. Just needs to maybe win a speed tie here or there. But, you know, Mungus here is in a decent position as well to, you know, apply pressure to Xerneas if it really chooses to do so. So William's going to have to probably keep both of his Pokemon in going into this next turn in order to guarantee that Amoonguss doesn't get to do Spore, doesn't get to do Pure Smog, doesn't get to Rage Powder next turn or anything like that. So we do see the Rage Powder from Amoonguss here.
Oh yeah, we do. And that's going to spell... it's not going to matter because that Dazzling Gleam is going to find its mark onto both, and that buffed Dazzling Gleam is actually going to do quite a bit to Ken Xerneas. Now Ken Xerneas going to do the same thing that Williams did, using that Geomancy, powering up, getting that boost with the Power Herb as well so that you have no delay in this uptime for the Xerneas. Now we got to see, though, what this Incineroar is going to do.
Yeah, I would expect to see Flare Blitz here, but I don't know if it'll knock out. It probably will, depending on the spread. It is a base 120 power move.
Wow,
so
yep.
It's going to go down, but it does take a little bit of recoil from that, and that's important recoil. It definitely puts it within the range of a Moonblast, should Ken decide to risk that play. So we're going to see how Ken can get himself back into this. Here comes the Hitmontop with Fake Out primed and ready to take on the two that William has on his field.
Yeah, but I think that William is in a pretty good position now. I think that he's probably feeling a little bit more confident knowing that Amoonguss that did so much work last game is out of the picture now. So he can really focus on the damage threats here that are on Ken's side of the field, which is that boosted Xerneas and that Hitmontop that you just mentioned does have that fake out pressure online.
Yeah, and I think Ken's last is probably the Lunala. We don't know yet, but it is safe to assume that you would probably bring your two
You may as well.
as Fake Out here, no protects, just going to go straight into the Xerneas as Moonblast going to land into the Incineroar. This should be enough for a knockout clean.
Oh, yeah, it is. Oh.
So, great turn from Ken. I don't really know what William was thinking there. Maybe just say, I'm just going to take it. And, you know, what happens, happens. I got Stack Attack in the back or something like that. Although we are not even going to see Stack Attack hit the field. It's actually going to be Lunala.
Wow, so it's going to be two damage dealers now on William's side of the field. And we're going to see whether or not that Lunalium Z is actually going to be able to do enough to clean up anything on Ken's side of the board. We're even in terms of Pokemon for both sides. And we've got 2 full health on either side and 1 for each that's roughly about the same HP range as well. So a very even matchup so far, but this Helping Hand is going to further boost this Xerneas, and I'm scared for whatever that Xerneas is about to attack.
All right, Dazzling Gleam souped up is going to hit both targets.
Wow.
Does over half through Shadow Shield. That's very rare from something that's not super effective, as the Lunalium Z is going to come out, and it's probably going to target that Xerneas. I don't know for sure until the animation goes off, and, you know, you got a lot of time to watch that animation, too.
We do have a lot of time.
But I would definitely expect it to go into Xerneas, lest William just throw the game away and move on to game 3.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to see what happens here. Yep, so it's that Xerneas that's going to be taken into that other dimension, and that other dimension is going to spell death for this Xerneas. I don't see any sort of reality where this Xerneas survives, so that's going to be a trade for both of these players.
Yeah, it's a decent trade, to be honest, but it definitely puts William on the back foot. Having burned the Z move already means that once Ken's Lunala comes in, it's not going to be able to, you know, use it again.
Yeah.
And you've already broken your Shadow Shield, so maybe Ken doesn't even have to burn his Z move to knock out your Lunala. So here is the Lunala on Ken's side of the field, and there's that Garden Shed. Coming in a little late, missed the party, Xerneas is already gone, so what am I here for again?
It's just there to look pretty and be a funny meme at this point because I love that name still. I can't believe that you kind of can look at that Pokemon and think of a garden shed. 'Cause it's just so fitting. But we're not actually going to see another Z move. We're going to see
Psyshock coming out into Hitmontop. It's going to just clean the Hitmontop right out. Yeah, gone. So, that's all good and fine. Here's the Moongeist Beam from Lunala, probably targeting the other Lunala, making sure that, hey, you
don't need anything else.
You're not going to hit me.
Beam. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else that you can really say about that. That's just going to be a clean shot onto Williams Lunala. And now it's just Taka against the world right here.
Yeah, that Gyro Ball did a lot of damage, but Shadow Shield making sure it does half the amount of damage it normally does. It might be looking like a damage roll on the second Gyro Ball. And, Ken still has that Z move ready to roll.
Yeah.
So he might go for it, but he might also go for a standard Moongeist Beam if he thinks it won't knock out, and then go for the Z move afterwards, just to make sure it confirms into a knockout. And I think that is what he's going to do. So here's the first Moongeist Beam. No Z move just yet.
This is just going to do a bit of damage here. It's not going to be enough to clean up the kill. You'll see that this Gyro Ball, though, is going to attack again. And, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
that was a damage roll, and
it was definitely a damage
in
roll.
Williams' favor there.
All right, so unfortunately for Ken, he's going to get eliminated from cut by William Marks. Great players, great game, really tight. It pretty much just came down to who had the better luck of the draw, basically. Who had the better sleep turn luck, who had the better speed tie luck, those kind of things. Although I think Ken might have lost the speed tie every time versus Williams Lunala. So very unfortunate, but two very skilled players. I hope they're both proud with the amount of CP they walk away with, no matter how their day ends if they go on to cut.
Yeah, so
I just received word that actually Ken got his Worlds invite from that placing, so you can expect to see him in Washington, D.C. come August, and we're going to do a player interview with William about that win. So anything else about that match you want to talk about? It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward, so can't wait to talk to William and get a little bit more insight onto his thoughts about how that matchup went and why it went the way that it did. So we'll see you guys after this break. Welcome back, everybody, to the Moon Series. I'm joined by Will at the desk. Congratulations on that spectacular Round 7 win. You're in Top Cut tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty crazy to think I'm back in Cut. It's been almost a year.
Yeah, and let's talk about that a little bit. So you're fairly new to the Pokemon scene, and when we say that, we mean that this is your second year competing.
Yeah.
So how did you get started in Pokemon, and why did you get started now?
So basically, I was just perusing YouTube one day, and I saw one of Wolf Glick's videos in VGC guides, and I was like, "Cool,
Aw.
I'm gonna do this," because I did not make the marching band at my college the first year, which is what I do now. I'm in the drum line, so
Awesome.
I substituted that with Pokemon, and I just studied up and played a lot, and then I went to internationals as my first event, and
Wow.
went 6-3. And it's been up ever since.
Great. And you're looking at a top cut tomorrow in a pretty
Yeah.
big regional. So it seems like it was a great choice for you to do the Pokemon and the drumline.
Yeah.
So I like that that's playing out so well. So about the matchup that you just had.
Yeah.
There were some moments where it looked like you were in a little bit of a dire situation. Like, let's talk about the fact that you had two Pokemon asleep at the same time. Multiple instances.
I will not deny that I got very lucky with sleep turns game one, but like he was banking on me getting those 3-turn sleeps too, so
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
Yeah, it seemed to be pretty cut and dry. When John and I were talking about it at the desk, it just seemed pretty straightforward. You just seemed to outplay him.
I hope that's what happens.
So what about the strategy behind the team that you brought?
So basically, this was the team that got first and second at Melbourne Internationals, and it resembled a team I played a lot for my first midseason in Sun Series.
Gotcha.
So basically, it's just Xerneas Lunala. This time it's Psych Up Z instead of Specs, like it was in Sun.
Okay.
And essentially, you just overpower everything with Xerneas, or you overpower everything with Lunala. And Serena, Incineroar, Smeargle, and Stack Attack are great supports for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cut and dry.
Yeah.
It looked like your Stack Attack ended up able to do a lot of work, even with the threat of the Hitmontop on the other side.
Yeah.
So, what was going through your mind when you saw that Ken brought a Hitmontop?
So basically, I was very scared of it because I knew it hit Incineroar and Stack for super effective, but I basically just won speed ties and killed it, so I didn't have to deal with it.
I like it.
And luckily, I was able to live the Z-Moongeist beam from Lunala, and I believe Gyro Ball sometimes killed, so I kind of got lucky there, but I believe I would have pulled through regardless.
Yeah, so was that truly a damage roll that last turn of the match where your Gyro Ball from Stack Attack hit into the Lunala?
Probably.
All right, well then, luck was on your side today,
Yeah.
not only with those sleep rolls, but with those damage rolls, so that's pretty exciting.
It's just my weekend.
That's good. Maybe that'll follow through to tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, what are you going to do to prepare for the top cut?
I'm just going to spend all night like hanging out with friends and having a good time to relax. But after that, I'm going to hit the books a little bit. I'm going to call some people, and I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do for all my matches.
Well, the hard part's over. You're already in the top 8, so you're walking away with a lot of championship points going towards potentially in nationals invite.
Yeah, I'm going for the World's Invite this year. Last year, unfortunately, I had to miss it due to drumline conflicts. But this year, I'm trying my best.
Well, we will be very excited to see whether or not you're able to get there. Any last shout-outs before we get into our next match of the night?
Yes, I would like to shout out my friends in Soylent Gang. They are all the greatest players in the whole scene. I would like to shout out my girlfriend Cupid for being very supportive of me. And I would like to shout out Nails for driving me here.
I love it. So a lot of support for you during this regional. So congratulations again for making it to day 2, and thank you so much for joining me to get some insight into your match.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're going to be right back after the quick break, and we will be back with another match from round 7 of Swiss to round out who's going to be in Top Cut tomorrow. See you guys then.